This girl was the CEO's canary he'd kept for 5 years. He wired her hundreds of thousands in pocket money to her card every month, right on time. She had all the clothes and bags she could want, and he even took her on trips abroad for holidays. To her, this man was the perfect sugar daddy, but she knew he'd never gotten over his first love, the one that got away. The day she found out she was pregnant, his long-lost first love came back home. She quietly went to the hospital to book an abortion. She was just about to take the pill, when a tiny, baby-like voice popped up in her head. "Mom, don't get rid of me." The sudden voice jolted her. She squeezed her makeup brush tight, and every memory from her past life came rushing back. Her best friend's sweet kindness had all been an act. Her real plan was to get rid of her and the baby, then marry the CEO herself and become the rich socialite everyone envied. Just then, the door to the dressing room opened, and her best friend walked in with a fake smile. She patted her on the shoulder and whispered, "Relax. The equipment's been checked a dozen times. Nothing's gonna go wrong. Just stay calm and do your thing. After this shoot, you'll be an international movie star." Thinking about the baby's voice, a cold chill ran down her spine. When she zoned out, her friend frowned almost imperceptibly. "Come on, babe. What are you spacing out for? You know how the director is. We'll get yelled at if we're late. It'll ruin your reputation if you hold up the whole shoot." Liu Ziwei pulled her hand away from Liu Jue without thinking. She stepped back 2 paces. To hide how she was really feeling, she forced a weak smile and said, "Yu, I don't feel so good. My head's spinning." "Yeah, right. That fake smile of yours isn't fooling me. Come on, Director Peng's been texting us non-stop. We'll be too late if we don't go now." Another baby voice yelled in Liu Ziwei's head, full of frustration. "Are you kidding me? Is my mom even an actress? How'd she make it to the A-list with acting this bad? How much cash did my dad waste on her?" Liu Ziwei cringed hard. She thought back on her career. She had won an award, but it was the Golden Raspberry for Worst Actress. It made sense. In her past life, Liu Jue had manipulated her every move. She only took bad scripts or roles that didn't fit her at all. If Wu Anze hadn't been throwing money at her behind the scenes, she would have been washed up in Hollywood ages ago. "Ziwei, what's wrong with you? You were fine a second ago." Liu Jue frowned deeper, her smile fading fast. She was clearly annoyed and about to snap. 2 cast members walked in and said politely, "Miss Liu, Director Peng sent us to get you. Everyone's waiting on set." "Yeah, I have family stuff to handle. I'm not filming today." On a whim, Liu Ziwei bolted out of the room before Liu Jue could react. She didn't even take off her makeup or her costume, ran to the parking lot, and drove off. She had no idea where to go, but she knew she had to get away from this mess and out of Liu Jue's control. The baby inside her could feel her determination. Its tiny voice was thrilled. Nice. This life wasn't a waste after all. Finally, you've got some sense. Just get away from that evil woman. Everything will be okay once we see Dad." The baby's words snapped Liu Ziwei back to reality. She steered the car toward Wu Anze's mansion, but then she remembered 3 days prior. She'd fought with Wu Anze non-stop over a photo Liu Jue sent her. She'd sworn she'd never see him again and thrown all his expensive gifts in the trash. She felt nervous just thinking about it. The photo showed Wu Anze walking into a fancy apartment building with a model. It was vague, but Liu Jue twisted it to make it look like he was cheating. Furious, she hadn't let him explain and blocked all his contacts. Just then, Director Peng called. His yelling was so loud it almost burst her eardrums. "Liu Ziwei, do you know what this means if you leave? The whole cast and crew have to stop working for you. Be back in 30 minutes or you're paying the breach fee." Director Peng's words hit her like a bucket of ice water. She couldn't get a word in before he hung up. She pulled over, leaned back, and started counting the penalty. She was making $19.5 million for the role. The contract said she owed triple her fee if she bailed, plus all the resources the studio spent to get her the part. It was an astronomical amount to her. Triple $19.5 million is $58.5 million. Add in the lost resources and it's easily $60 million. We're doomed. My mom's so dumb she's gonna get taken down by that villain. Ugh, she's so stupid. Why doesn't she just have Dad meet her on set? He's the main investor of this whole movie. Who dare push him around? That evil woman wouldn't stand a chance. The baby's grumbling voice woke Liu Ziwei up. Wu Anze was the biggest investor. Everyone on set answered to him. As long as she had him on her side, Liu Jue couldn't pull off any of her schemes, no matter how sneaky they were. Liu Ziwei gritted her teeth. Embarrassed as she was, she had no choice but to call that familiar number. She couldn't pay that huge penalty, and besides, she was pregnant now. She couldn't risk anything. The call was picked up after just 1 ring. On the other end, Wu Anze's deep voice came through with a hint of quiet excitement, like he'd been waiting for her call all along. "Finally, you're calling me back." A man secretly sold the small apartment he and his wife had scrimped and saved to buy over 5 years. He turned right around and gave all the money to his deadbeat little brother, but his wife didn't complain one bit. When she got home from work and saw the empty house and her packed suitcase, she didn't say a word and just left for her parents' place. She didn't even bother to confront him. The guy had no clue how broken his wife was. He just thought she was being easygoing. He even bragged to his brother, "Your sister-in-law's the chillest. She never gets in my way when I help family." The brother ate it up. He told everyone how great his brother was and how his wife was quiet and obedient, never talking back. For the first 2 days, the man took his brother out to eat, bought him drinks and cigarettes, and felt like a hero for helping his family. He totally forgot that he and his wife no longer had a place to call home. But this little high only lasted 2 days before he started freaking out. He was stuck in a tiny rental. His wife always did all the cooking, cleaning, and laundry. He couldn't even figure out how to turn on the gas. His clothes piled up and stank, and every night he came home to nothing but cold, empty silence. He got mad at his wife for overreacting and leaving, but never once blamed himself for selling their place behind her back and breaking her heart. His wife was living great at her parents' house. She was well-loved, had hot meals every day, a clean home, and didn't have to cry or stress over her husband's dumb choices anymore. At first, the man texted her demanding she come back and fix his mess. She just replied, "We're better off apart," and left it at that. After only 5 days, he couldn't stand it anymore. His place was a disaster. He lived on takeout, and he started feeling sick. He finally panicked, but still refused to admit he was wrong. He swallowed his pride and went to get her. When he reached her village, he found out her family had just gotten a big relocation settlement. She was helping her parents handle things and living a good, calm life, something he never knew or cared about. He stood outside her parents' door calling her name, but her mom wouldn't even let him in. Through the door, his wife said, "You only care about your brother. You never cared about us. There's no going back." The man went back to his rental defeated. Life only got worse. He ate badly, slept cold, and his brother didn't even appreciate what he'd done. Instead, he called every day whining that he still didn't have enough for his wedding and blaming his brother for not doing more. The man went back over and over begging and apologizing, but his wife stood her ground. She was going to make him live with what he'd done. When the brother saw his brother couldn't win his wife back, he showed up too, calling her selfish for ruining their brotherhood over a house. His wife ignored him completely and stayed happy at her parents' house. Within a week, the landlord kicked him out, giving him just 3 days to move. Now he was truly homeless with nowhere to go. He ran to his brother, begging for some of the house money to rent a real place. But his brother clung tight to the cash and refused, saying it was for his wedding and he wasn't touching a dime. The man was stunned. He finally realized he'd given everything to his brother, only to get greed and coldness in return. His choice had been beyond stupid. He went around begging relatives for rent money, but everyone knew he'd sold his house behind his wife's back to help his brother. Nobody lent him a penny. They all told him to put his own family first, or he'd lose everything. He hit up every relative and left empty-handed. He sat alone on the street, watching people pass by, filled with regret. Just when he was totally desperate and had nowhere left to turn, his brother found him in secret. He told him to beg his wife to come home and pressure her into using her family's settlement money to pay his wedding bills and rent them a nice place, all while he kept every penny for himself. When he heard that, the man's heart completely broke. The day my husband let his sister-in-law move in, he told me it was just temporary. I didn't argue or make a scene. The next day, I brought my mom from our hometown. My husband's face dropped. "What's your mom doing here?" I said, "You help your family, I help mine. We're a team. We look after our own people." "Fair enough." 3 days later, my husband begged me to send my mom back. I said, "Sure, if you send his sister-in-law away too." He went quiet. I'd already listed the house with a realtor. I wasn't keeping it. He tried to guilt-trip me with family, so I showed him everyone's family matters. The day she moved in was a Saturday. I got home from overtime at noon, opened the door, and saw 3 suitcases and 2 woven bags in the living room, plus a bunch of crammed plastic bags. My sister-in-law was sitting on the couch, sipping Jinjun Mei tea I bought online from a Jingdezhen cup my mom gave me for New Year. Her son, my 12-year-old nephew, was leaning over my daughter's desk going through her homework. My husband, Zhou Jianping, poked his head out of the kitchen with a fresh bowl of noodles, handing it over nicely. "Sis, have something to eat first. I'll grab better food tonight." When he saw me standing there, he looked guilty for a second, then quickly acted like he had every right to do this. "You're home. I gotta tell you. Her lease ran out, the landlord's raising rent, she can't find a place right away, so she's staying with us for a few days." He told me, not asked. I said, "Until she finds a place?" Jianping pushed the noodles closer. "She's raising a kid alone, it's hard." I took off my shoes, set down my bag, and walked into the kitchen. On the stove were 2 dishes he'd made, shredded pork with peppers, scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Way more pork than I ever cook. The ribs I bought yesterday were gone from the fridge. The empty package was in the trash. "Where are the ribs?" I asked. "I made soup for her and the kid to help them out," he said like it was nothing. "Look how skinny they are." I glanced over at her on the couch. She had a nearly new down jacket, a gold bracelet, and the latest phone that just came out last month. Skinny? Poor? I didn't say a word. I bit my tongue. On the 7th day, her son folded my daughter's scholarship certificate into a paper airplane and threw it off the balcony. My daughter ran to me crying. My sister-in-law brushed it off. "Kids don't know better. I'll yell at him later." Jianping added, "It's just a certificate. Get another one. Don't overreact." My daughter's 13, got 3rd place in her grade in 7th grade finals. That certificate was worth all the late nights she put in. I took a deep breath, went downstairs to get the paper plane, and pressed it under a bottle on her desk. On the 10th day, she started using my skincare, without asking. The new face cream I bought, over $30, a 1/10 of my monthly salary. She scooped a huge glob on her hand. I stared at it for 3 seconds, then called my mom. "Mom, how have you been feeling lately?" "Pretty good, why?" "Nothing. Want to come stay in the city for a few days?" She paused. "Something wrong?" "Nope, just miss you. Come over, I'll buy your ticket." She heard something off in my voice, didn't push, just said one word. "Okay." On the 15th day, my mom arrived. I took half the day off to pick her up from the station. She had a woven bag with sweet potatoes from our garden, dried chili peppers, and pickles she made herself. "Brought you some homemade stuff. Can't get this good stuff in the city," she said with a smile, wrinkles crinkling up. My throat tightened, but I hid it. When we got home, Jianping and his sister-in-law were sitting on the couch watching TV. Milk tea and fried chicken she ordered were on the coffee table. They were laughing loud, TV blaring. I opened the door, Mom behind me. The second Jianping saw her, his smile froze. "Mom, what are you doing here?" "My daughter invited me, said she missed me," she said with a smile, setting down her bag, looking around. "Wow, house is full of people." My sister-in-law's face changed. She held her milk tea mid-air, not sure whether to put it down or keep drinking. I said calmly, "If she can stay, my mom can too, right?" Jianping set down the remote, pulled me onto the balcony and whispered, "What are you doing? Where's your mom gonna stay?" "Where she stays, my mom stays." "That's not the same. She's in a tight spot, just temporary." "My mom's also staying temporary." Jianping snapped, "Your mom's healthy, she's not struggling. Why she gotta come?" I looked him in the eye. "Your sister-in-law isn't struggling either. She's got a new coat, a gold bracelet, using my cream, drinking my tea. Tell me what trouble she's in." Jianping froze, then got defensive. "What's wrong with you? She's divorced, raising a kid alone. Have a little sympathy." "Sympathy? What about my mom? She farmed her whole life to put me through school. Her back's barely straight. She never complains. One divorce and everyone has to cater to her?" You're being ridiculous!" Jianping stormed back to the living room. I followed. My voice was calmer than I felt. "Jianping, you take care of your family, I take care of mine. Fair." My mom was sitting in the living room staring at her. She forced a smile. "Nice to meet you, ma'am." My mom nodded. My mom didn't hold back. "You're Jianping's sister-in-law, the divorced one?" Her smile dropped. My mom kept going. "Divorce isn't shameful. Women can do fine on their own. But you shouldn't crash at your brother's place this long. It's not fair to his wife." Jianping's face went dark. I didn't stop my mom. Jianping put on a show the first day my mom stayed. By the second day, he couldn't stand it. My mom got up at 5:30 a.m., clattering in the kitchen making porridge and pancakes, the whole house smelling amazing. My best friend fought with her boyfriend and moved in with me for a couple of days. But the next day, while I was at work, she burned down my place and killed herself. She left easy, just like that. I, on the other hand, got stuck with a lifetime of debt. By the time I paid it all off, my body was completely worn out. When I opened my eyes again, I was back the day before she burned my house down. If life's giving me a second chance, I'm gonna survive this time for real. My friend kept calling, so I finally picked up. "Chen Qian, Fujie broke up with me. He's kicking me out of his place." I pretended not to catch her hint and asked anxiously, "Xiao Yao, do you have any money on you?" She'd already given her whole paycheck to her boyfriend, so she had nothing. She cried, "I don't have any money. I don't even have my ID. Can I stay with you for a while?" "He took your ID? No way, we have to call the cops. He's getting worse and worse." Luo Yao whined, "Don't, he'll hit me." I acted worried. "Don't be scared. The police will protect you. Besides, you can't get a hotel without an ID." She asked again, "Can I stay at your place? Just 2 days. Fuji and I will make up soon." I turned her down nicely. "My landlord doesn't let me have guests. I'll figure something else out for you. Can you ask him to make an exception? I really have nowhere else to go." I hung up on her right away and called 911. Crying, I told the police my best friend was being held hostage by her boyfriend, who even kept her ID from her. After giving them her address, I put my phone on airplane mode and quickly asked my boss for a 10-day vacation. I packed my bags and got ready for a spontaneous trip. Earlier, I'd asked my neighbor next door to keep an eye out. If anyone asked for me, tell them I was on a business trip. She happily agreed. I put on my swimsuit and sunglasses. Lying on a beach chair enjoying the sun, I scrolled through trending news. But there was nothing about Luo Yao. My special ringtone started blaring. Shouldn't she be dead in a fire by now? The loud ringing made a guy in sunglasses next to me turn and stare. Flustered, I answered the phone. Luo Yao was screaming hysterically. "Qian Qian, I told you not to call the cops!" I sipped my coconut water and said sadly, "I was just trying to help you. Why can't you see that? You ruined Fuji for me. He's breaking up with me because of you. Just wait, I'm coming for you." I could hear wind in the background. She was on her way. "I'm your best friend. Can't I crash at your place for 2 days? You had to make this huge mess." She kept yelling in the wind, but I didn't care. I hung up and blocked her number. There's no way she's finding me today. The guy with sunglasses was still staring. I smiled at him and checked him out. Dude's pretty hot, broad shoulders. I never even dated anyone in my last life. Total waste. But this time's different. Before I could flirt, though, my neighbor texted me. Luo Yao showed up at my work looking for me. The front desk said I wasn't there, so she threw a fit. Security kicked her out. Then she went to my apartment. No one answered when she knocked, so she hired a locksmith. My neighbor saw him picking the lock while she was out shopping. She asked why they were breaking in. Luo Yao said she couldn't reach me. She was scared something happened to me, so she was desperate to get in. My neighbor told her I was on a business trip and told her to leave. Luo Yao refused and insisted on getting in. My neighbor lost her temper and called 911 reporting a break-in. The locksmith realized it wasn't her place, cursed, and left. Luo Yao got a free ride in a police car for the day. No clue what happened after that. I thanked my neighbor 1,000,000 times. She said it was no big deal. Just find her a boyfriend. I was so annoyed. Luo Yao's crazy. She never thinks about the consequences. I can't even imagine what would have happened if she'd gotten into my place today. Would she have burned it down just like last time? We came from totally different worlds. She grew up rich, the precious princess of her family. She had no idea how hard life was. I was raised by my grandma, who picked up trash to get by. My parents left to work in the city after my little brother was born. They never came home, not even for holidays. Grandma never went to school, but she wanted me to get an education and leave our small town. I was a top student and got into a private high school with a full scholarship. Meeting Luo Yao was a total accident. In 11th grade, some popular girls bullied her. She was crying so hard. I walked by, felt bad for her, and stepped in to help. After that, everyone called me Luo Yao's shadow. Luo Yao always told me I was her best friend and to ignore what other people said. I spent all my time studying and working. Whenever I was upset or lonely, Luo Yao was there to cheer me up. Back then, I really thought she was my only real friend. Luo Yao started dating Fuji in college. Her parents hated him, so she went on a hunger strike. Somehow, her parents finally approved of him. They even bought them an apartment. Fuji was a total loser. He skipped class, got into fights, and messed around all the time. I warned her over and over that he was bad news. She ran and told him right away. Said I called him a bad guy. I wanted to end our friendship so many times. But Luo Yao was so clingy. She called and texted me every single day. She said I wasn't safe out alone and worried about me. I didn't have many friends. She was the only one I hung out with. Besides being crazy over Fuji, she was actually nice to me. Our friendship just dragged on like that. Then she lost her mind. To make Fuji look good, she snuck her household register out to marry him. I've been stuck in Beijing for 8 years. You promised to lend me 1.5 million for a house, but you gave the money to strangers just to save face. From now on, don't come to me for retirement. That's our money. I'll spend it however I want. Quit talking nonsense. We got 5 million from the house demolition, and Dad said he'd donate it all. I froze. Why? Your mom and I talked it over. We're donating it to Project Hope to do something meaningful. I stared at him and laughed. Last month, I told him I wanted to buy a place in Beijing, and I was 2 million short on the down payment. You're young, can't you just rent? That's our money. Then retirement is your problem too. What's that supposed to mean? From today on, we're done. 3 days later, my aunt called. Xiao Yu, Dad said you're cutting ties with the family. How could you do this? Do you have any idea how hard your parents worked to raise you? Dad said you're mad because they donated the demolition money. Aunt, let me tell you something. I've worked in Beijing for 8 years, making 25,000 a month. I know you have a good job. A down payment in Beijing is at least 2 million, and I'm 1.5 million short. Last month, I told Dad I wanted to buy a house. What did he say? He said, you're young, why buy a house? Can't you just rent? Then he turned around and donated all 5 million. Aunt, I pay 6,000 a month in rent. In 8 years, that's nearly 600,000 gone. I don't mind them doing good, but they won't even spare 1.5 million for me, then gave away 5 million. Cut your dad some slack, he's had it hard. I get it, I just want him to understand me too. What are you saying? I'm 32, no house, and my girlfriend of 3 years left me because of it. They can be good people all they want, but don't expect me to take care of them in old age. Xiaoyu, you can't do this. I hung up. Then my phone rang again. It was my mom. Xiaoyu, your aunt told me everything. How could you talk to Dad like that? He's your father. Did he ever think of me when he acted like my dad? What's that supposed to mean? Mom? Remember when I was little? We were so poor. We lived in a shack, freezing in winter. I know. That's why we waited for the demolition. You said once we got the money, life would be better. You'd buy me a house so I could get married. Now we got the money and you donated it. Xiaoyu, you have to understand. I do understand. I just want you to understand me too. From today on, I won't send you any money, won't come home for holidays, won't take care of you in retirement. This is my decision. Are you trying to kill us? I just want to live like a human being. I hung up. My phone rang again. It was my dad. I didn't answer. He texted me and I never replied. I sat in my rental staring at my phone. 32 years old, 500,000 in savings, no house, no car. My girlfriend left me. My parents donated 5 million and called me selfish. I just started laughing. I pulled up rental listings in Beijing. Tomorrow I'm moving somewhere cheaper. I'll save 2,000 a month. I'll earn that 1.5 million myself, without them. On moving day, my dad showed up. He stood downstairs watching the movers. You're really moving. Where doesn't concern you? Xiaoyu, how are we supposed to face our relatives if you do this? You care about looking good in front of relatives. What about me? When my girlfriend left, she asked if my parents had a house. I said no. She asked why. What was I supposed to say? That my parents had 5 million but donated it all? It's our money. We'll spend it however we want. Then I'll spend my money however I want too. I won't send you living expenses anymore. It's not that I won't. It's that you don't need it. You both have pensions, 8,000 a month, more than my rent. And don't you have 1 million in savings? How did you know? Mom let it slip last time I went home. You donated 5 million and hid 1 million away. That's our retirement fund. What about my down payment? Dad, I don't mind you doing good, but why use the money I need for a house? It's not your money, right? It's not mine. So taking care of you in retirement isn't my job either. I got in the car and left. Dad stood downstairs watching me drive away. A little while later, my aunt called. Xiaoyu, your dad called me. He said you moved and didn't even give them your new address. Aren't you being too harsh? Aunt, let me ask you something. If my parents really needed money, why wouldn't they use that 1 million? What? They have 1 million in savings? But they won't lend me any for a house. Donated 5 million, hid 1 million, and call me selfish. Does that make sense? I'm not unfilial. I'm just heartbroken. I've struggled in Beijing for 8 years, saved 500,000, and lost my girlfriend. Right now, I just want to save up for my own place. What about your parents? They have pensions, 1 million in savings, a house. They won't starve. And I know what you're gonna say. But I have my own life too. I hung up. My new place is 2,000 cheaper a month. A week later, my mom showed up. She came with my aunt.